Hello and welcome everyone to Learning English with Mr. Brown. All right, today we'd like to have something very marvelous. All right, a lot of people keep asking me about how to master speaking skill, and here I am today for having this session. I would like to shed light upon how you can possibly master speaking skill in a very short time. All right, let's first acknowledge the fact that speaking is very vital element in learning any language across the world, and therefore it needs time and efforts. That's the point. All right, so this is a very non-deniable point. We cannot escape away from this point. Okay, so this is the first point, and before we go and talk about the skills that we can use to master these speaking skills, we have something very important to take a look at. First of all, if you want to learn a language, generally, whatever skill you want to master in a language, then you should put into consideration that the willingness and the motivation is very important. You should first have motivation. In other words, you should be very motivated and you should have a strong desire and a strong whim, because these things that I've just mentioned are going to give you access to learn things in a short time and to master whatever you want to master in a very short time. Okay, and also not to mention self-esteem and self-confidence. These things also play very important role or vital roles, though therefore you should take a look at them and you should know them by heart. Okay, you should have a very strong self-confidence. You should believe in yourself and you trust yourself that you can do something, and then of course you can achieve it no matter what time does it take and so on. Okay, and also should have introspection. Introspection is kind of psychological, concept which enables you to know yourself, who you are, what are you doing, and what you're going to do in the language, and why you are, or why are you learning this language. That's the point. And why are you willing to master its speaking skill is also very important aspect to take a look at in terms of mastering the language. Okay, and the point we have also very controversial is don't be shy. This is something really bad for learners. When they are shy, of course they cannot learn and they will not learn anything. Okay, surprisingly, shyness is a very psychological problem which impacts negatively on the learning process. Many studies have proved that shy persons cannot learn more. Okay, but an outgoing person is very likely to master any kind of skill. It's very approved by many researchers and many studies. Okay, and many findings urge people to be outgoing because it has a very important role in terms of developing skills generally. Okay, hereby we are going to talk now about the skills that we use or how to master speaking skill. This is something very fantastic to take a look at. First of all, we should take a look at listening. Okay, listening is actually very important. It's considered to be the first skill in learning any language across the globe. So in order for you to master speaking skills, then you should listen carefully and attentively. All right, listening is a very vital skill in learning languages, and therefore it has a very big gate. Okay, this big gate has got many or huge doors inside it. Okay, so you are free to choose. In other words, you have a freedom of selection to which one you're going to choose. All right, if you choose to buy radio and you can listen through radio broadcasting, this is also something very nice. People prefer to do this in case they have a lower economy and they have lower income. So radio could be the cheapest thing you can buy, and you throughout it you can try to listen to whatever you want to listen, and this is something marvelous. This is a very good point. All right, and also one of the things that we should like to take about or to talk about or to take a look at is one of the doors we have here is listening to some songs. Okay, this is also very nice, especially in 21st century. It does work a lot because we have lots of singers all across the world singing with different voices. So try to listen, try to get the lyrics and try to understand what they're talking about, and then try to listen attentively to the words and the sounds that they're making. Okay, this is also a good point. And of course you can try to listen to debates Likewise, we have Doha debates. This is also very good and very successful episodes. All right, so these episodes are all designed for speaking skills. All right, in terms of using the language orally and communicatively. This is also good perspective. And we also have a point about watching TV channel. This is also very accessible nowadays. All right. Apparently, radios are available. TVs are available anywhere, and there are a bunch of channels that you can try to listen to, and you can try to listen and watch at the same time, so you can practice your listening skills via these channels. Likewise, we have BBC and we have CNN, as well as we have Al Jazeera News and beyond. All right, there are lots of channels. You can try to check out the one you want, and you try to listen to whatever channel you want, and that's the way you can improve your listening skill. All right, this is the first point. As for the second point, is that check out the meaning of the vocabulary, words, phrases, sentences. Could be the thing that you have just heard, to try to check out the meanings for these things you have. Okay, you can try to consult dictionary, or you can try to consult a teacher or anyone who you feel like can give a help for you. Try to do that without any hesitation. Okay, this is also could be a very good practice. So when you know the meaning of these words, then hereafter comes the time for you to record yourself. Recording yourself is something very marvelous in learning languages or in mastering the speaking skill. Okay, so because when you master the records that you have, you try to listen to them again over and over again, then you will recognize your mistakes and the words that you mispronounced. Okay, this also could be a very good perspective, so you'll be familiar with your voices and the sounds you make. This will be very familiar. Likewise, we had in the beginning, listening could also open a gate for you to listen to native speakers, whereby you can get to know the sound clearly and how they pronounce the sounds. And this is also a good point. Okay, a lot of people are claiming that native English speakers are speaking so fast or too fast. This is actually not right. It's not about speaking too fast or speaking too slowly. It's about they are using sounds and words that are not familiar for you, which you haven't practiced before. That's why you feel like this is an obstacle for you to listen to them, and you cannot get what they're talking about. Right? So by doing this, recording yourself and listening more, then the sounds can be very clear and obvious for you. Then you can try to recognize the sounds and which one is voice and which one is voiceless, and so on. These points could be very important and very vital points. Okay, moving swiftly on, and let's talk about point number 4, is that try to practice. I personally call this stage to be as production and action time. Okay, because in this time, what you have learned and what you have memorized, the words that you checked up, the meanings in dictionary, and also in the listening that you've been listening quite a long. So these points, it is time now to put them into actual use. Okay, practice takes many stages. Okay, if you feel like you cannot possibly face people, first of all, practice that with yourself. You can try to look at the mirror, you can try to talk with yourself, and you understand what's going on about that. Okay, this is the first point. Second point, try to practice that with your family. If you feel like you got enough from talking with yourself, try to practice this with your family. This could be also a very good gate for you. It could be accessible for you to go forward to take your speaking skill to be into higher form of performance. Okay, and not to forget also, when you want to speak, you got enough for talking to your family, then here comes for the stage to talk to your family, to your friends. As we know, people very often feel or tend to feel very friendly with their friends. They can talk and they can express their feelings freely without any obstacle, without any hesitation, and this is also could be good for you. After you have practiced enough with your friends, then you can try to practice with anyone else. Okay, anyone else you find, you can just talk to him using this, and this is also a very nice practice. And let's move on the fifth point, which is also very controversial. Is about tongue twisters. This is also a very important stage actually, because many studies have proved that tongue twisters play a very important role in terms of the sounds recognition. So, and you will have what's so-called fluency. This is something very important actually, because by doing so, then you are training your articulators to, produce the words and the sounds clearly in a good way, and could be comprehended by other listeners. Okay, so it gives a chance for you to practice this, and it gives a chance for you to have a fluency, or to have a native like fluency in speaking skills, which is something very amazing. Okay, the last point that I'm gonna shade the line upon is that, try to teach what you got to someone, or to other friends or people or whoever. This point is very important actually, because by teaching some of your friends or anyone, this could give you an opportunity, and this opportunity will strengthen your self-confidence. This is the first thing, and your self-esteem, not to mention that you'll be very motivated to give more. Okay, and you can practice speaking in a wide range of activities, like presentations, for example. So by giving presentations, then you cannot forget what you have given people. Okay, then this will stick in your mind, because as far as we know, the only knowledge that sticks in mind is the knowledge that is always used. This is also something very nice to put into considerations. Okay, and astonishingly, when you wanna have this kind of practice, don't feel shy at all, and don't try to follow the steps that I gave you earlier. I mean, the first point that we start this video. So by following these points I've just mentioned, no doubt you're going to speak English, and you're going to master speaking skill in a very good way. Then you'll be an advanced speaker. Thanks indeed for listening and watching at the same time. Goodbye, and have a nice day.